Julianna Pena versus Amanda Nunes 2, the rematch, takes place this weekend in the main event of UFC 277, Pena versus Nunes 2, and I can't wait for this absolute rematch of the ages. They don't come like this often, okay? This is a massive matchup. They come around once every decade. I'm really looking forward to this matchup. Words can't describe how much legitimate enthusiasm I have for this fight, especially because of how deserving it is of being in the main event position of a pay-per-view. I mean, Adesanya Cannonier? What? Glover versus Yuri? Oliveira Gaethje? Who cares? Amanda Nunes versus Julianna Pena 2, the rematch, is what's going to save this company from very bad pay-per-view sales. These are the main events of pay-per-views I'm talking about. This is $80 worth of fight. Really looking forward to this matchup. Whoever made it the main event of a pay-per-view is an absolute genius. Let's just be real. And I'm not even going to get into that because I don't feel like my IQ is even worthy enough to discuss the person who is such a level of genius to make this the main event of a pay-per-view. But either way, I am looking forward to this matchup. It's a big fight. Can Amanda Nunes get her belt back? And can Julianna Pena upset the odds again? Which is very interesting because Julianna Pena is an underdog here. And I don't know why she's an underdog. I really don't understand at all. Like, I feel as though, like, yeah, I get it. She should be maybe like a slight underdog or something along those lines, but the underdog that she is in this matchup, like, Nunes to be minus 260 and open up above that as well, is very interesting to me. Very interesting. I've got to take Julianna Pena as an underdog again. Surely you've got to do that. I feel like the main difference between Julianna Pena and Amanda Nunes is other opponents. The difference between Julianna Pena and the other opponents that Amanda Nunes has made look really easy is the fact that she has a decent chin. And that was about it, really. I don't see Amanda Nunes really doing too much with her on the ground. And that's somewhere where Amanda Nunes has sort of been able to, like, escape a fight here and there because Jermaine Durandamy, although submitting Julianna Pena with a standing guillotine, because that's just women's MMA and how it works, doesn't really have much of a ground game. She did show some danger to Amanda Nunes with, like, a triangle at one point on the ground, but Nunes could sort of just find her way on top of Jermaine Durandamy and survive in those positions and ride out the clock and stuff like that. She could do the same thing against Felicia Spencer as well in the featherweight division. I don't think she can just sort of, like, buy herself time and win the rounds just by being on top and landing total strikes the way she has done against those other opponents, against someone like Julianna Pena. And I think we saw that in the first fight. Pena was threatening submissions off of her back whenever Nunes was on top, and it was making Nunes have to work on top, and she doesn't really want to have to work that much. She's a big, powerful girl for the bantamweight division, so I feel as though that sort of eliminates an option there for Nunes to just sort of take top position and hold out the fight. So she's going to have to finish or beat Julianna Pena on the feet in this matchup. I also believe she's going to take that route as well because the last time she got choked out to finish. Now, I know there were no hooks in, no real power on the choke whatsoever. I mean, it wasn't really even under the chin anyway, but Nunes tapped even still. That's because she's only the GOAT of women's MMA, so of course she would tap to that. But I feel like she tapped from exhaustion. She tapped from shock that she was even in a position to be losing that matchup. And I think because she got technically submitted last time to a submission that doesn't exist, I feel as though she's going to avoid the ground game completely. And this is going to give Julianna Pena more options, I believe. I think Nunes is going to go out there, try and chop the calf early on, try and land some really big power shots, and try and play that stand-up game and be patient with it. But Julianna Pena, something else that she has that Nunes' opponents previously did not have, is a good chin. I don't know if you guys have seen the chin of Julianna Pena, but, like, you know, Yuri without a beard would be jealous of it. That's all I'm going to say. Julianna Pena has a Giga Chad jawline, okay? It's very protruding. She looks like Stan from American Dad. And I feel as though it's going to be a problem for Amanda Nunes. She can take a shot very well. She showed that in the first fight too. She can push a pace. I think she's got arguably better cardio than Amanda Nunes. I think she's hungrier than Amanda Nunes, even though Amanda Nunes is now challenging for the belt. She left ATT to start her own gym. You cannot tell me that is a move to better yourself as a martial artist. You just can't. That's a move, in my opinion, to just sort of make money for yourself towards the end of your career. And that's not the mindset that I want. Julianna Pena is training with a good team. She's developing her skills. This is the most active we're going to have seen her for a very long time. We've seen Amanda Nunes active. That was a big narrative going into the first fight between them as well. Amanda Nunes has been active. She's been beating all these top contenders while Pena's been injured out on the sidelines. And she only fights maybe twice a year, at maximum once every 11 months, that type of stuff. And I feel as though now that we've got an active Julianna Pena, with a mental advantage over Amanda Nunes going in, I feel as though when Nunes starts to lose this time at any point, she's just going to crumble again. So I'm going to side with Julianna Pena, in all honesty. She's got a good chin. In my opinion, a good enough chin to take the shots of Amanda Nunes. Maybe Amanda Nunes calf kicks her a couple of times and Pena can't walk for the rest of the fight. But typically in women's MMA, leg kicks don't do anything a lot of the time. Now, I know this is Amanda Nunes, so, you know, that take might be a bit different for a girl like her. But I feel as though the leg kicks aren't going to do much, even if she does go for the leg kicks. They're just going to allow her to be pressured backwards as well. And I think Julianna Pena's just got that mentality. She's not going to be out there like Megan Anderson, like, and then just get smashed apart because she's terrified of Amanda Nunes. She's got a real mentality that she believes she can win this one. She can grit down, get it done, and then move on to bigger and better things. And I believe a Valentina Shevchenko fight could be in the future for her as well. I don't know what they're going to do about the featherweight belt, because if I was Julianna Pena, I'd be saying this should be for both of the belts, because if I already beat Nunes twice, what are we going to do, a trilogy at 145 to get the belt from there? That makes no sense. Maybe they just keep Nunes around at 145 and stuff like that. But even still, Julianna Pena going in there, much better mentality than last time. She's confident that she can get the win. And I just saw in Nunes, when things aren't perfect for her, what is the technique like? That's what you want to know of a lot of champions. Like when Adesanya got pushed by Gastelum, he still had good technique in those moments. In the war in the 5th round that came, when both guys knew that they had to win the 5th round, Adesanya was still dipping and dodging and landing good shots and great technique shots and stuff like that. But with Amanda Nunes, when she got into a bit of a scrap that I believe Pena's going to bring again this time as well, she just started throwing like a child with no technique at all. Like she hadn't trained a day in her life, and it's really difficult. I'm going to make a video about this on my second channel, breaking down them swinging back and forth at each other in that moment, because the technique that both of them showed was just terrible. But the thing is, Julianna Pena just seemed more hungry. She still hasn't made her own legacy. She's not a millionaire yet. She's still not a millionaire, I would imagine, because she's only just got the belt, and now she's going to defend and maybe make like 5% of the pay-per-view shares. But with this pay-per-view, I reckon that'll be like, what, $10 or something like that on top of her original show money. So that's going to be a tough one, because I doubt this pay-per-view is going to sell too much. But I am invested. I'm looking forward to it. I just feel as though Julianna Pena's got this one. Mentally, she's a big girl for the division. She's strong as well. She's got the option to take this to the ground, and I think Nunes is going to fear that ground option even more than she did last time. She's not going to see herself getting on top and being safe. I think that's going to be a problem in the back of her mind. So if things start going not too good on the feet, I think it's going to be a problem. And yeah, I really don't see Nunes winning this one. I really don't. And the fact that she's a massive favourite is just kind of silly to me. I get it. She hurt Pena in the first round. I believe she dropped her with a jab or something like that. So I understand she could do it again. But the likelihood of her KOing Pena, I mean, even for Pena to get dropped and still get back up and push Nunes backwards and beat her in the stand-up exchange, Nunes looked like she'd never felt a jab in her life. I've watched back the fight a few times now. Nunes looked shocked that a jab? What is this mysterious technique? Like, and it really makes you think, she destroyed Holm with a head kick in the first round. And it starts to make you wonder, like, what kind of technique has she really shown? I know she kind of just, like, didn't engage with Shevchenko for 5 rounds in their matchups. And in one of them got it done, in other one arguably didn't get it done and stuff like that. But I feel as though it's just like, if someone pushes the pace on her and makes her fight at like a brawl that requires some kind of technique, she's just going to swing her arms back and forth. And I think now that Pena knows that, she can start setting some more traps to blast a double leg underneath the shots, start landing some other shots in there, maybe other than a 1-2. Who knows? I don't want to push the women's fighters too much, but anything other than a 1-2, like a left hook maybe, a right hook, an uppercut, you know. I don't want to get crazy by suggesting other punches exist, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. It's a big one. I just don't see how you can not take the massive underdog in Julianna Pena here. Just seems silly to me. Like, I get it, it's like kind of 50-50, and you don't really know what Nunes is going to show up, but a better Nunes is going to show up than last time. I know maybe, this is it, she's more motivated now, but she's still not at ATT. Who's she training with? Pena's still developing as a fighter. She still hasn't even made her money yet. Now she's going to make some real money and then get a Shevchenko fight. And that might be quite a big fight that they put on a good card that she can get pay-per-view points from. And then she'll start looking for other belts if she can win that one. Like, it's just, there's more to gain for Julianna Pena moving forward in her career. Whereas I feel like Nunes is just like a bit, And even if it does go to a close decision, I reckon if the UFC is going to lean it either way, they're going to side with Pena as the new champion rather than Nunes, who has never sold a dime for the company whatsoever. A complete waste of a champion that she just, like, negatively affects most of the cards. She does put on good performances, but no one's interested in buying the cards. So maybe with a good win here, Julianna Pena could become a bigger name moving forward. And so I think if there's a close decision, we could see a 49-46 Julianna Pena or something like that. We'll see how it goes. And, yeah, it's a good fight, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be a fun scrap. But I see Julianna Pena being beaten in the first round by Amanda Nunes. Maybe pushing her up against the cage here and there. I just think it's going to be a very high-paced fight. And then round 2, I see Julianna Pena maybe ending up on bottom after a close fight on the feet here and there. Nunes shoots, ends up on top. And then Julianna Pena starts throwing up some submission attempts that make Nunes worried and landing some punches off of her back and stuff like that and making Nunes worry even more. And then starting to go for some submissions like a Kimura on bottom and armbar on bottom and stuff like that. And then round 3, I see them getting a bit scrappy in the center. Things are getting a bit close. Things are starting to lean towards Julianna Pena getting the job done. Nunes is starting to slow down. Julianna Pena is looking focused in her corner, ready to come out for round 4. Amanda Nunes is looking quite defeated. She's given all she could give, and she hasn't quite got the power there anymore. And I can just see Julianna Pena walking her down, beating her up, getting a takedown, ending up on top, and again getting a rear naked choke in round 4. That's what I'm going to go for here. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Yeah. This is what it's all about, guys. Tune in. I reckon this will be a fun fight, so I'm looking forward to it. But main event of a pay-per-view doesn't feel like a pay-per-view weekend. It really doesn't. It feels like a good fight night. Like and subscribe. See you later. Goodbye.